Greetings, everybody. Yes, we're having connection problems as the YouTube app struggles to adapt to the new Apple updates. Welcome to Tokyo. And in this update, in this episode, we're going to be discussing how safe is travel in Japan as we go into the fall. It is now November 1st here in Tokyo. We're going to be discussing how safe is travel in Japan as a YouTube creator. How you doing? As a YouTube creator, see if we can get away a little bit from the people. It's very important to make sure that you are safe, and each country around the world is in a unique situation where there really isn't any foreign tourism into Japan right now. No outsiders are coming in. What we have right now is what we're dealing with pretty much, and the situation here is much better in comparison to where I'm from in the United States and in Europe, where things are getting pretty bad. And I want to put this in perspective, because as I begin November and December, I have a lot of travel planned for these 2 months. And I'm going up tomorrow to Tohoku for 2 days. I come back to Tokyo. I'm flying from Haneda Airport to Tottori, which is going to be just a 2-day, 1 night, 2-day trip to film there. And then I come back on Friday. I fly back to Tokyo. And one of the questions I keep getting is, John, you're traveling so much now. Is it safe? And the answer is, it's as safe as it can be, considering the situation. When you're outside in the open like this, when you're around people, like I'm right now social distance around 2 to 3 meters from the closest person speaking out towards the seaside right now, it's okay. But everyone is wearing masks here in Japan. There are protocols in place, and over the next 15-20 minutes as we walk around this beautiful area, and I got something to show you in a second, we're going to be discussing this, and I'll be taking some of your questions, because what is going on right now in Japan might be the situation next year when travel does begin again here in coming to Tokyo international travel. It's fascinating for me to see how Japan has adapted to the pandemic. The situation that we had in February all the way through the summer is different now and it's going to be different in about 3 months from then. I want to show you a little bit about this area, which is really neat. I came here to film some B-roll. Right now I got my Lumix S5 out here. Over there in the distance, just across the bridge, that's the Meiji Maru. The Meiji Maru is an old ship where Emperor Meiji took this ship, and I'll take you there in another live stream sometime. Emperor Meiji took this ship over there and sailed from Hakodate to Yokohama. And that's a pretty neat ship, and I'll bring you back in another live stream probably next month, as it's kind of an interesting story. It's sitting over there, and it's part of the Marine University. Now, coming towards us is my favorite and your favorite boat, Space Boat, making its way towards Toyosu, actually, to Lalaport Shopping Mall, and then to Odaiba eventually. But it's nice to see Space Boat is operating, and we're going to be seeing as Space Boat crosses underneath this bridge here, a reason why I might be here. How many people are actually on Space Boat? No, this boat does not submerge and go underwater. Kind of just looks like it could, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to jump, Glenn. Who wrote that? Glenn? No jumping. This isn't Mission Impossible. This is Mission Stay away from Space Boat and respect its distance, because I don't have a paying ticket and they probably have laser guns. Okay? This is a ferry. It's a space. It's a space. What's a space? It's actually a bus. A bus that takes people from one place to another. So look and see if there's any people inside there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I counted 5 people, and in the back there, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there was about 10 people inside of Space Boat. James, I'm not jumping. Some crazy people there. I guess you know what? If I was watching this, I'd probably try too and say that as well. So I'd probably say jump. Over there on this side here is Toyosu Market, and I've been there several times over there. That's a really beautiful area of the city. Very wide open over there, right off of Tokyo Bay. I like it, like a really safe enclosure. as a motorbike cop goes by. And then across, just around the bend there, is Toyosu Fish Market, where all the tuna auctions are taking place in Tokyo. Now, getting back to the point here, as I'm now kind of more in the general area, there is some complacency, and the numbers are holding pretty strong in Japan, where it's like 100 to 200 people a day. It's nothing like in the United States. So people feel kind of a little bit safer here, I guess, maybe too much. Last night, I was kind of worried seeing so many people together in Shibuya as Halloween was taking place in the Hachiko Scramble over there. I definitely was not going to go there to live stream. It's just too much of a risk with all the other videos that I have going on. So I think you have to pick and choose. I think I have this backwards. You have to pick and choose your missions. As a YouTube creator, it's very important for me to pick and choose the kind of coverage that I want to do. One of the coverages that I will not do is to go to a crowded place and cover that. It's just not worth it. Ah, that's better. This mask in itself is not actually something that I use to protect myself from the virus. This is another thing that people have to understand. Yeah, there are better masks and there are better face coverings, but a face covering, of course, is not 100% of anything. You need to have an N95 mask, and unless you have that, like, we all know this, we all know the drill because we've been listening to it on the news and on websites, on the CDC and the WHO websites for a very long time. Masks work because it absorbs the droplets and makes sure that it doesn't spread out, all right? So there's a big difference and a huge misunderstanding. We're all wearing masks here, or face coverings, so that we don't infect one another. And I see almost 99.5% of the people inside of the train stations, at the airport, of course, are all wearing face coverings. When I'm in crowded places like the Shinkansen, which recirculates the air every 8 minutes, and inside of the ANA flight, which made a point that it says it recirculates the air every 3 minutes. So these are kind of significant things. Everybody has a mask on. Everybody is not talking too. They're talking very lowly, and they're also very much trying not to speak at all when they're in a crowded place, just breathing normally. And this is also something that's really great about Japan. People don't talk loudly like me. It's just me. But when I'm on the Shinkansen for the last few trips, social distancing and spacing is very much in place. There's nobody sitting next to me. And in fact, I have found that if you're I'm loud because I have to be loud because of the job. You want to be covered by a microphone, whether it's here or here. You have to kind of have a louder voice when you're in this kind of a profession. Just depends. Having a loud voice is not very good. But for a pandemic, it's not good to have a booming voice. You know what I mean? So the Shinkansen has been in place where Kanai and I were very worried if I should wear a face shield, how deep do I go? But I've noticed since everybody's wearing a mask, social distancing is in place. I clean the area with alcohol and the seats, the tray, the area around me. And then I kind of settle in for 2-3 hours depending on how far I go. And it's been pretty good. 2 nights ago, I came back from Sendai. There were 3 business guys. They were talking to one another. They took off their masks. They were drinking and talking business people. And I guess they just forgot where they were. So after 2-3 minutes, I leaned over to them and I said, "Excuse me, when you don't have a mask, you shouldn't be talking so loudly." And they apologized, and quickly it got silent. But then like 5 minutes later, they started to talk again, but they had their masks on. So little things like that, I think people are forgetting where they are, what the situation is, but we don't see a massive spread or increase going on, which is very, very unusual, I think. You can see behind me that everybody, just about, unless you're with your family, have a mask on. All right, I'm gonna come down here, and I can hear the yucky emo trucks in the distance. We're gonna have a little bit of a talk, and I have a sandwich here that I'm gonna eat from the convenience store. that you might like. Beautiful day. This is a nice place to be filming. Ah. All right. Every store that I've gone to has taken my temperature and has also checked. They have a scanner to make sure that I'm within a certain period, and they make me clean my hands with alcohol. It's not a perfect system. It's something that makes people feel comfortable and detects enough people to try to keep the numbers down. It's always just about, in Japan, reducing as much risk as possible. And they do a really good job of it, and they're very persistent with it too. Everybody wears a mask. You gotta wash your hands with alcohol, and you get your temperature checked when you enter certain places, especially if you're gonna be on a tour or something. When you get on a bus, they take your temperature before you get on the bus. If you have a fever, you're asked not to go, and they will refund your money. If you have a fever and you're going to a hotel, and the hotel owner sees that you have a fever, they will refund your money. And the local governments are paying back the hotel for the last minute cancellations, which in itself keeps people safe so nobody gets infected. And that's the system that they have in place, because right now we have a go to travel campaign or go to eat campaign where people are paid to travel. Not paid like where you make a profit, but I think it's like 50 to 70% depending on the travel. 30 to 70% is refunded to you. And when we stay in certain hotels, we'll get tickets to spend at local stores, which has been pretty interesting. Kanai's been able to buy some unique stuff for this. I have here, as we talk about this, oh, look at that tourist boat. Let's see how the situation looks on this. Look at that. Everybody's got a mask on, kind of cruising towards Odaiba. He's got a face shield, the guide did. Interesting. So the guide had a face shield, and everybody had a whoa, the waves are I think we're gonna be okay. This here, ladies and gentlemen, is our meal for today. This is from Family Mart. And do you see what this says here? It says this is the All-Star Sandwich. The All-Star Sandwich is half-boiled egg. What is that, like a beef sandwich with gravy? I think there's some egg and ham and some tuna. The All-Stars. We're gonna have this as we talk about it, about how safe is it. Flying was very interesting. I was the most worried about flying in an airplane compared to the Shinkansen, but I think that they do a really good job of checking your temperature, and again, there's a distancing and spacing, and they make sure. This was really interesting, and I'll see if I can post this video. Hey, Jennifer French. I see our families here. Fungus, United States Marine Corps. Gourmet convenience sandwich, indeed. And Florence, long time no see, Florence. How you doing? I was really, really nervous, mostly for the flight when I flew to Kochi last week. And what happened on the plane was really, really unique, and I'd never seen this before. On the loudspeaker, they called out certain rows to get up and leave, and everybody stayed in their seats until their row and aisle was completed. And it was such an orderly, spaced out thing compared to the usual times where as soon as they turn off the seatbelt sign, everybody gets up on the airplane, and then everybody stands like this next to one another for like 5 minutes as they try to get the gate door open. On the flight to Kochi, when we arrived, everybody stayed in their seats. It's unheard of on flights. The first thing you want to do is like run out of there. Now I was sitting in the front of the plane, and I looked back, and nobody was standing up back there. The discipline, it takes a lot of discipline to do that. Once one person stands up and breaks the rules, then everybody thinks it's okay as well, but nobody does. So I think flying in Japan is really, really unique. The safety procedures were really in place, and I felt really comfortable, more so than I thought I would. Now I had on an N95-like mask. I don't know if it's an N95 but it was like an N95 type mask just to protect myself. But when I'm outside, I wear this to protect other people. Masks protect other people. So this is not so much for me, but for other people, because I don't think, like, the numbers are just not there enough for me to stop everything that I need to do and stop my job as a YouTube creator. I have to go out there and create. Let's try the sandwich here. I'm gonna go first with the half-boiled egg. I gotta go with the half-boiled egg. Look at this thing. Now this is an all-star because it's got not just a half-boiled egg, but it's got the egg salad in there. Look at that. This is an all-star. It's like it's looking at you like Buddha glasses in the Nagoya area, if you saw that episode. Yes, that's real egg. Only one way to find out. Real egg. Really good. It's got such a good creaminess to it. Tours is something that I was really worried about. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be taking a tour. One of the things that I have to do is to wear a kimono and walk around in the town. It's like it's one of the most touristy things that you can do. It's kind of fun to do, and you should try it. But I'm gonna go up to Tohoku, and I'm somebody who wants to support the people up there, and I guess I'm gonna be a foreign tourist, pretend to be one, like I don't live here. But I'm gonna get a chance to wear a kimono tomorrow, and I'm really curious to see what the safety precautions are like, and perhaps I might live stream this as well when I get up to Tohoku. I think sharing these kind of experiences is what the Only in Japan Go channel, this channel, is all about. I'll be going to Muto Onsen, which is very famous up in Akita, and I'm really interested to see what are the safety precautions to go to onsen like. Now, I stayed at a ryokan 2 nights ago when I was in Tohoku, in Yamagata. Really lovely ryokan. And when you went into the onsen, into the bath, they had alcohol pumps where the baskets are to take off your clothes. So every time you touch something, you would spray your hands with alcohol just before you returned to your room, just to make sure that you didn't bring it back to your family. There's so many signs asking for distancing. And even inside of the bath, when you're places where the showers were, every other area to take a bath and shower was closed off. So there was some kind of social distancing and asking people to separate inside of the bath. It's not a perfect system, but it's enough to perhaps prevent more infections from taking place. And I thought that was really thoughtful of them to do that. They had posters made up, professionally made up posters now in the onsens and sento baths houses to help people to stay distanced, and I thought that was really good as well, because you cannot wear a mask in a bath. It's impossible. That was a good sandwich. Wow. Checking into the hotels was also different. The last hotel we checked in was at Sendai Station, Hotel Metropolis, right at the station. They have a high turnover of customers, so I was a little bit nervous about that. I prefer to help family businesses, family ryokan, small businesses, but we needed to get up in the morning, and this was the most convenient place to do that. And it was a good hotel, but instead of checking in the line, they asked people to sit down, and the staff, instead of being behind the counter, would come up with face shields and masks and just keep clusters away. Now, they would ask some people to go up to the desk to fill out forms, and then they would come to other people and fill out the forms and keep their distance, wearing the masks, and then take your bags up to the hotel. So there's a lot of protocols in there, and they need to do that, because if they don't, their reputation gets damaged. So they're doing everything that they possibly can. At the elevators, there's alcohol pumps. So if you do touch a button, you can, if you're worried about it, you can wash your hands with alcohol. On every floor, they had this. Inside of the rooms, the housekeepers, I stayed at the, in Nagoya 2 weeks ago, I stayed at the A&A Crown Plaza because it was just the best location from where I was shooting. And in the room, there was a card with the name of the person who cleaned the room stating that they had done a thorough job with alcohol to disinfect it. But as an added layer, here are 2 alcohol pads or alcohol wipes, industrial, like thick alcohol wipes that you can use to wash counters if you feel that that makes you comfortable. So I got these 2 wraps that I could use to clean on the counters and the telephone if I wanted to do that. I had that available. I thought that was really good. Little teeny things that they're doing. It's all, I don't know how much it helps, but it helps me feel more comfortable traveling. And that is, that's really important. Because we just don't have the same kind of numbers as we do other places in the world right now. So I don't know if this is something that, if you're traveling in the United States or you're traveling in Europe, how that's going. But in Japan, that's the situation right now. And if you have any questions specifically for traveling in Japan, you can go ahead. Hey, Eugene Hilbert's here. Hey, Eugene. Nice to see you. General Nick is a new traveler, and King Wong, Vending Machine Fun. I've been looking for one, but there's nothing around here. We lost a Patreon supporter because he got upset that I kept saying thank you to everybody giving super chats. But I just think that's really polite to do. If somebody is going to do that, you should say thank you. I just think that's something that you should do. Sorry to that Patreon supporter who left because I was thanking other people. What am I going to do? Can't make everybody happy. Jeff Ang, thank you. See? Over the course of the next 10 days, I've got 4 trips that I'm going to be traveling on. And around November 10th, or between November 10th and November 15th, I'm going to do another Japan travel update and talk about the opening up of Japan, because I'm hearing some murmurs from government officials and people in local governments that there's some movement on that. So let's see how this evolves over the next 2 weeks, and I'll be able to give you more information and update you on these 4 travel trips, 4 trips, because I'm going to different regions of Japan now. Each region sort of does things just a little bit differently. When I was in Kochi, I interviewed a really lovely couple, Violet. I think her name was Violet down there in Kochi, and her husband Carlo, and why they left Tokyo to move to the countryside. And this pandemic was one of the reasons. She had a lot of other really compelling ones, but when we came, she had to wear a mask. And so did I, because I'm an outsider. And she just said that for the longest time, their little village, nobody really wears masks because nobody has ever been infected and they don't have outsiders coming in. It's kind of a closed off place. So when I came in there, I had to take more than necessary precautions and had alcohol and tried to stay away from their kids and everything. But it's hard to be in Japan, which is a country that is extremely polite. And this is really, really hard. How do you stay polite with all of these protocols in place and balance that out with people who are a little bit lax with the rules? The service industry is doing a really good job of trying to find that sweet spot of not being insulting to people, but at the same time making sure that everything is safe so that nothing happens. Because the worst thing that can happen is some sort of cluster or something that happens to your business, and then you're in the news here. Because we don't have so many of these clusters anymore. When they do happen, they're in the news, and that's really bad. So a lot of the businesses are doing extra careful, being extra careful. They don't want to be one of those businesses that get features in the news. Let's see some of the questions here. And do click the like button if you like these updates, because it does help. Where's the A7S III? I ordered it in the U.S. and it's going to be sent to me by family, but I had to cancel my order. I don't have it, but I got all the lenses. Right now, I just had to get a new mic for this. This is the Rode NTG video mic because I got mine wet, and this is actually a better mic. But this camera is so light. I'm kind of happy with the Lumix S5, but I really want to get that Sony A7S III Irvan. Really do. I gotta be patient. Aiken, what do the metro trains look like? For example, the Yamanote line look like for use? I think I kind of went over it with the Shinkansen, but I've taken the subway and the JR trains a couple of times. Out in the countryside, there's not a problem at all. Social spacing is in place. In Sendai, everybody had masks on and nobody was talking. That's sort of the policy. The younger people talk a lot more, but the older people shush them. Just the talking is something that increases the chances of virus getting out. So talking is something that people don't do anyways, much on the train. So when you're on these commuter trains, no talking, masks on. And then people aren't really talking anyways, but I think they're more vigilant now. People are wearing the paper kind of masks. They try to wear the ones that are just slightly a little bit better than just what I'm wearing here. But for casual use, I wear this because it's easier to talk, and it's just easier to put on and off, and it doesn't irritate as much. But the paper masks are slightly better at protecting, but none of them are 100% because it can go in through your eyes as well. So you need eye covering. Just you take the precautions as much as you can. So I'm going into the All-Stars here. It's the last sandwich. This is like a meat sandwich. I don't know what it is exactly. Oh, wow. It's like a gyudon in a sandwich. This is very good. You can see the backside's all bread. So they show you the open one to get you to buy the sandwich. The back's all white bread. And they cut the crusts off. Can't complain. You can see the Meiji model right there. This month's postcard club collection. So I'm sending these out day after tomorrow to everybody. They're going out early this year because of the busy Christmas card season. It's the Buddha sunglasses. So Shane, it's on the way, as well as the daimyo packages. Kanai's dad's coming over to help us pack them up so we can get them out really early this year, this month. Other than that, it's up to you. So if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to head back. Hey, Tete Montero. Tate, I was in Japan in March, and your updates and recommendations were really helpful. Thank you. I really love your channel. That's great. Thanks. And down there in Mexico, staying warm. It's getting chilly up here. The situation in March, when you compare it, is different because people now have prepared. They have vinyl sheets everywhere. They have a lot more alcohol at their disposal. In fact, down in Kochi, the sake breweries started to make alcohol instead of sake. They found that the alcohol prices were so high, they stopped making sake and they started to brew their own alcohol, like 70% alcohol, which is really awesome. And it smells a little bit like sake. Because I was down there, I was spraying my hands with this smells like sake. So they're using the same places in the tanks just to create a higher alcohol to be able to use that for hands, because there was a time where we couldn't get our hands on alcohol. Okay, there's a tuna fish, but this is really thin. This is for the sake of just adding it into the All-Stars. Wow. Yeah. Clayton Kanto talks about the 3-day pass. Shout out to JR East. JR's got so many divisions inside of their rail company. JR East is the one that I'm working with. There's JR West, JR Kyushu, JR Shikoku. There's agencies within there. It's such a confusing place to get permits for one place and another place. So huge shout out to this JR East Welcome Rail Pass, which I'm using tomorrow as well. 3 days of unlimited Shinkansen travel to Tohoku for 12,000 yen, which is like $120. It's a steal. It's so great, and I'm gonna be filming as many stories as I can. Let's see here. Hey, thank you, Superior Custom Garage. Thank you, John, for real content. Thank you for real comment. I don't know. I appreciate it very much, guys. You might lick your hands. That's still really strong ethanol alcohol. So if you do lick your hands, make sure that it's been on there for 20 seconds to kill whatever's on there, and don't lick more than twice because it's pretty strong. Purple Cat Audio, I'm working on it. Huge 007 fan, and I was very saddened yesterday to hear the news that Sir Sean Connery passed away. And he was a private man. I respected that a lot. I didn't always agree with him, his personal life, but as an actor, very talented, very incredible, amazing presence, and yeah, he was the best Bond for sure. Although I liked On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I thought that was a really good Bond too. Daniel Bengtson, would you do a lap dance if I donated $1,000 to charity of your choice? I might. I don't know, because at the same time, the lap dances are kind of, that would make people upset. It's entrapment. Jonathan Chong has got it right. Not lap. What's a WAP? I don't even know what a WAP dance is. Don't ask. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Look, I don't get out much. Okay, I don't. Irvan writes in, don't ask. I trust Irvan. Okay. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. If I don't know what it is. I thought there was a misspelling. Something that Bugs Bunny would say. Yeah. Arnold B74, thank you for these videos, especially features on not so touristy places. I think that's important to show you different regions around Japan. Absolutely. Purple Cat Audio, thank you so much for joining. You've unlocked all these cool emojis, and I got some neat stuff to post. Some behind the scenes stuff in the membership tab. The next week coming up, PVG's at home. He's been pretty busy these days too. I'm going tomorrow to Tohoku for 48 hours. I go to Totori and to Mihonoseki to stream national parks down there for 48 hours. I come back on Friday. I edit videos and I try to get one out for the weekend. And then the next week I'm back out again. I'm back in Kochi in December. I'm doing a project with Mount Fuji, with local government there. So I've got a lot of projects. I've got the JNTO seminars, which start in 2 weeks. So we've got 10 people that I'm going to be teaching on how to do more YouTube. Ah! The water got in my shoe. Tide's coming in. I'm not climbing Mount Fuji, but I'm going to be on a bicycle going around it in the winter. So that should be really interesting. Whoa! So this one has pepper in it. This is Fuji Yoshida. So I'll be around this area. And Randall, thank you for the coffee, Randall, from Oregon. I really appreciate it. It's all about trying to stay as safe as you possibly can and continue to work. There's no more subsidies by the government. There's no more like state of emergencies anymore. We just got to learn to deal with it. And stay as safe as possible and pick my missions carefully. If you're a YouTube creator and you're watching this, pick your missions carefully. If you're going out to Shibuya Halloween to live stream amongst people, you have chosen poorly, all right? So pick your missions carefully. Try to stay away from, pick missions that are in more secluded areas that don't, are avoiding the 3 C's, clusters, closed spaces, I forget the 3 C's, but the common sense stuff, okay? Avoid that. And be respectful of the people around you, okay? Wear the mask not for you, but wear it for the other people, because it makes other people feel comfortable, okay? That's a really important thing in Japan, and that's one of the things that I love about it. People are thinking about other people, and that's the best way to do it. That's how we all stay safe and win. Yeah, if you're streaming in a crowd of people that are young and foolish, I think that makes you young and foolish. I don't know. So I stayed in last night. Halloween was with Kanai, just relaxing. It's the best way to do it. It looks like we don't have any more questions, do we? I really do appreciate all the suggestions. I did do a poll for members to kind of ask where to go next. Nagoya and Saitama were up on the list. So this month I will be making a trip to Saitama to do some live streams. Don't worry, probably next week. Not this week coming, but the next week after that, I'm gonna go to Saitama to do some live streams. So you'll get your wish. But I do appreciate all the suggestions. How you doing, Matt Engstrom? Frank the Tank's here. Taven, President of the World. Jason, it's good to see everybody. Aiden, Peso, Arnold, Eric, JKO Adventure, moderators, thank you. Shane, yeah. Gunma is really high on that list too. You got it. The Chomp. Nice to see everybody. Stay safe wherever you are. 3 times in Saitama Super Arena. That's a super cluster area. Be careful. Gotta be careful. Omiya is tough town. Should be okay. I like Omiya. Have a good day. Stay safe. Stay safe for not just for yourself, but for your family and your friends. And we're rounding the corner and we're getting to near the end of 2020. And I really do have good feelings for 2021, everybody. So just stay safe and do your best. Just as we round this corner and get towards 2021, where I believe so strongly that things will get better. Things will be back to normal. Tomorrow I'll be on the road in Tohoku. Look for another live stream. It's going to be pretty cool. Hit that like button if you want me to do more. Encourage me, because I need to do more. I can do more. It's going to be great. I got some 360 videos coming on the News 360 channel before the end of the year as well. So staying busy. Have a good day. Later from Tokyo. Better days ahead. Mata ne. Thanks, Fungus, MS, MC, USMC, and Irvine. I'm working on that camera. You'll be the first to know.